build it, or could he lose it all? That's the question I asked myself one late night scrolling through bodybuilding clips on YouTube. On screen was Chris Bumstead, CBum, stepping onto the Mr. Olympia stage for his 5th title defense. The lights hit him. The crowd roared. And for a moment, it looked like perfection carved out of marble. I thought, okay, here's another jacked guy who lifts weights, wins shows, sells protein powder. We've seen this story 1,000 times. But then I looked deeper. Chris isn't just a 5-time Mr. Olympia winner. He's the co-founder of Raw Nutrition, an $880 million supplement company. He's turned his image into a $12 million empire with multiple brands, millions of followers, and a cult-like fan base. And he did it with humility, honesty, and hustle. So the real question isn't how he got here. It's whether he can keep it, or if this empire built on shredded muscle and YouTube fans could all come crashing down. So here's what really happened. The unfiltered story of how Chris Bumstead built an empire, brick by brick. 2. The origin story. Chris Bumstead was born in Ottawa, Canada. And if you picture a polite, clean-cut, hockey-playing Canadian kid, you wouldn't be far off. His parents let him try every sport. He played football, skated from the age of 3, but eventually locked in on basketball. He could jump higher than anyone. But there was one problem. He wasn't 6 feet 8 inches. So he did what a lot of undersized athletes do. He started lifting. At first, it was just a way to gain an edge on the court. But what started as a side hobby became the main obsession. He'd sneak into the gym before school, hit arms after class, watch lifting videos late into the night. He wasn't partying. He wasn't chasing clout. He was studying the craft, dissecting physiques like game film. At 13, he got his first gym membership. By 15, he was skipping junk food at lunch. By 17, he was measuring rice with a scale and refusing dessert at family dinners. His friends noticed the size. Teachers noticed the discipline. But Chris didn't care about attention. He was chasing a feeling. Progress. There was something pure about it. Lift, eat, rest, repeat. Results followed effort. There were no shortcuts. He found purpose in the repetition, in the suffering, in becoming someone most people couldn't. But the real spark came from his sister's boyfriend at the time, IFBB pro Ian Valliere. Ian was a bodybuilder, and when he saw Chris's work ethic and early gains, he made an offer that changed everything. If you're serious, I'll coach you. Chris didn't hesitate. He took a year off before college and committed fully. He trained, ate, worked part-time, and entered his first competition at 19. He won. The stage lights, the applause, the rush. It was like something clicked. And in that moment, the switch flipped. The gym wasn't just a hobby anymore. Success isn't born in the spotlight. It's born in basements, under fluorescent lights, when no one's watching. Chris didn't care about fame. He wanted to be great. And by 21, he placed second in his first Mr. Olympia appearance. That night, he made the call that changed everything. He phoned his mom and said, "I'm dropping out of university. I'm going all in." She said, "Well, then do it right. Go all in." 3. The struggle and learning phase. 5. The early years weren't glamorous. This wasn't some fairy tale where the trophies come fast and sponsors throw cash. Chris was grinding. He was training 4 to 5 hours a day, eating 6 meals a day, sleeping, posing, recovering. Everything was about optimizing his body. And for what? A plastic trophy? Some supplement samples? There were moments of serious doubt. He got sick before a show. He lost. He was exhausted. There was a time he thought he'd have to retire early. He didn't just think he wasn't good enough. He thought his body was breaking down. He questioned his path constantly, alone in hotel rooms, force-feeding himself cold meals out of a Tupperware. There were days when even walking felt heavy, when injuries made him question if he'd ever lift again. While others partied, he was meal prepping. While others traveled, he stayed home, chasing 1% progress. He turned down family vacations, missed birthdays, dated long distance. His circle got smaller, not because he pushed people away, but because few could understand the cost. He had to bet on himself long before anyone else believed in the vision. But what made Chris different wasn't just genetics or grit. It was that he was willing to be vulnerable. He posted a video on YouTube, not of a PR lift or a perfect meal plan, but of himself crying, talking openly about fear, pressure, and doubt. That video hit millions, and it didn't just change his career, it changed his brand. Suddenly, Chris Bumstead wasn't just a bodybuilder, he was a human. Vulnerability is a superpower. In a world of flexed abs and fake smiles, honesty builds loyalty that money can't buy. People started following him not just because he looked good, but because he felt real. And in 2019, he came back stronger. He won his first Mr. Olympia. Then he did it again in 2020. Then 2021. 2022, 2023. The pressure grew, but so did the opportunities. 4. The scaling breakthrough. With every Olympia win, the world paid more attention. His Instagram exploded. YouTube took off. And that's when the big supplement companies came calling. $500,000 a year for a few posts. Private label deals, fat contracts. For most athletes, that would have been the dream. Sign the deal, cash the checks, smile for the camera. But Chris saw the bigger picture. He realized something that changed everything. There's a difference between being paid and building wealth. The key? Ownership. He didn't just want to represent excellence, he wanted to own it. He understood his influence had value, not just as an athlete, but as a brand. He had leverage, and he chose to use it. So instead of promoting someone else's brand, Chris launched his own. First came merch, t-shirts, hoodies, gym wear, packed and shipped from his living room. He was literally handwriting labels at his kitchen table. The first 150 orders were fulfilled by him and a friend. Then came a fitness app offering structured programs to thousands at a low cost. It wasn't as personalized as one-on-one coaching, but it scaled faster and served the masses. But the real breakthrough? Raw nutrition. Launched with partners Matt Jansen and Dom Iacovoni. Chris had the audience. Matt had the coaching experience. Dom had the operations and supply chain mastery. It wasn't just a partnership, it was alignment. Matt had trained some of the best. Dom had scaled businesses before. And Chris brought the trust, authenticity, and attention. Together, they built a vertically integrated empire. No middlemen, no shortcuts, just quality from formulation to shelf. Raw nutrition exploded. They went from online DTC sales to shelves in Walmart, Sam's Club, GNC, Vitamin Shop, and across 15+ countries. What started as a startup turned into a global operation. They hired full-time staff, built fulfillment systems, streamlined production. Then came Bum Energy, a clean energy drink that immediately caught fire in the fitness space. And the secret? They didn't just sell products, they sold trust. The packaging wasn't flashy, the ads weren't fake. It was just Chris doing what he always did, telling the truth. Modern consumers don't follow brands, they follow people. And people follow people they believe in. But growth wasn't easy. In 2023, Chris hit his breaking point. He was doing everything. Managing meetings, creating content, flying out for business, keeping sponsors happy. And all the while, he was supposed to be preparing for his 6th Olympia. Business was booming, but his body was breaking down. He was traveling, working, training, and not sleeping. He started losing weight. His strength faded. His appetite vanished. Then came the injury, a torn lat just weeks before Olympia prep. And in his words, I sat in the car outside the gym and cried. 5. The empire phase. In that moment, most athletes would have bowed out. Not Chris. He didn't double down. He narrowed down. He pulled back from business, cut off travel, focused entirely on recovery and prep. The headlines went quiet. His email replies slowed. His business partners picked up the slack because they knew what was at stake, and he made a simple decision that defined his legacy. Greatness isn't about doing more, it's about doing less, better. He read the one thing. He turned off his phone after 5 p.m. No more late-night meetings, no more just one more call. He dialed in his sleep. He built a recovery routine with surgical precision. He stopped trying to balance everything and started choosing what mattered most. He trained, slept, recovered, ate, every single day, with monk-like focus. No cheat meals, no skipped sessions, no excuses. He knew what it would take, not just to compete, but to win. His lat was healing, but the real recovery was internal. For the first time in years, he wasn't just grinding, he was being strategic. While the rest of the world chased trends, Chris was chasing consistency. He wasn't just sculpting his body, he was refining his process. And when Olympia 2023 came, he stepped on stage with clarity, calm, and conviction. He won again. That made 5 straight titles. But this time, it wasn't just a win on stage. It was validation. That every sacrifice, every sleepless night, every boundary he set was worth it. It proved that his empire wasn't just built on biceps. It was built on principles. Today, CBum is worth over $12 million personally, with Raw Nutrition quickly approaching a $1 billion valuation. He didn't just survive bodybuilding. He used bodybuilding as a launchpad to business, leadership, and fatherhood. Because yes, Chris and his wife are now expecting their first child, a baby girl. And if you think that's going to slow him down, think again. Now, it's not just about lifting weights or building wealth. It's about building a legacy she can be proud of. 6. The lesson and challenge. So let's go back to the question we started with. Did Chris Bumstead build this empire, or could he lose it all? The answer? He built it, and he kept it. Because he didn't just build muscle, he built discipline. He didn't just post content, he built trust. He didn't just sell products, he built a community. And maybe most importantly, he built relationships with people who filled the gaps he couldn't. You can go fast alone, but you'll go further with the right partners. So here's the takeaway for entrepreneurs, athletes, and dreamers. If Chris Bumstead, a kid from Ottawa with push-up bars in his basement, can build one of the fastest growing fitness empires in the world by doing one thing incredibly well, what's stopping you? This isn't about supplements. It's not about lifting, and it's not even about fame. It's about consistency, clarity, and the courage to choose your path, not someone else's. So here's your challenge. What's the one thing you've been avoiding? What's the one area of your life or business that deserves 100% of your focus, starting today? Because if Chris can do it, so can you. Like, comment, and share if this inspired you. And remember, real success isn't about hype. It's about heart, hunger, and humility.